So I can see that people are joining in, but I can't see who you guys are or any comments. Can you guys hear me? Maybe. Okay, good. Thank you, Annie. I'm glad. So that means you're the other person. I don't like this not being able to see you. We'll see how it goes. Alrighty, we have still some minutes. So I'll give everybody time to join in. I'm scared to click anything too, because then if I click something and it exits out, then we don't want that to happen either. So Annie, funny story. I assume you're staring at your computer screen. If not, then it'll be recorded and then maybe somebody will hear me eventually. But today I was trying to record the meditation since Roots and Wings is having their Yoga Soul Sunday every Sunday. Okay, good. I'm glad you're listening. And I wanted to record it outside. And I went outside to record it during lunch break. And I was like feeling so very zen. I had my laptop set up. I was sitting there. The air was perfect. There was not enough, not too much sun, not like a little sun, like everything was perfect. And then I'm there, like getting ready to start for meditation. And all of a sudden, a wasp flies like right across me. And I jump out of my seat and run. And I was like, oh my goodness. And then it even hit like the little camera screen and everything. It like bounced off and like flew away. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, talk about like really tuning into meditation. It was so silly. Some of my friends were like, you should post that so then people can see that what happens in real life, because that's totally real life. Oh, but it was pretty funny. I might still post it eventually. We'll see. They do. And especially wasps, like they're not friendly. Like if it was a butterfly, which a butterfly was out there earlier, I'm totally okay with it. But a wasp, like we don't get along. Me and spiders don't get along. And then I saw the chipmunk run a little while after, and I'm like, oh my gosh, imagine if I'm like there doing the meditation and the chipmunk like runs over my feet. I'll start screaming. But I'm determined on making this meditation happen outside. So it's going to happen. Oh, I didn't choose to disable comments. I don't know how to. fix that. I'm scared what will happen if I click this. Nothing happened. I'm not sure. I don't want to click around too much. But I have seen comments happen. I don't know how I disabled them, though. That would have been helpful for right now. We're all learning. I spoke with a teacher earlier today that I was talking to, and she was telling me that this coming week is going to be their first week of school, and she's like, I learned Zoom, and now they're switching to Teams, and she's like, and I don't even know how to use Teams. I'm going to have to learn how to use Teams, and we're starting on Monday. And I'm like, ooh. I feel like we're all going to be tech experts by the time that this is done and know a bunch of different systems and be complete pros. Oh, I see somebody else joined on. I don't know who it is, but welcome. I accidentally disabled comments, so it happens. Oh, that person left. Maybe they're not part of our group. That was the other thing that I was worried about making it public versus private. It was, at least if it's public, then in case the link is lost or anything, it can still be found, but I don't know. You guys will have to all give me feedback as to what you think. And I would have to definitely enable the comments. And I think we're all here. It's showing 4 people. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Have the playlist close by. We're going to need it in just a few. We're going to go ahead and start on our backs. Could be. And on your backs, go ahead and place a hand on the heart and one on the belly. Starting to focus in on the breath, on the inhales and the exhales. Allowing the breath to move in through the nose, down the throat, the chest, into the belly. And as it reverses from the belly, chest, throat, and out through the nose. Keeping this breath going, knowing that you can always come back to at any point in time. Taking any rest or modifications as needed. And go ahead and set an intention for today's practice. Maybe it's something you're specifically working on, or maybe you need a little inspiration. So our quote for today is, Those who remove mountains begin by carrying small stones. So, reminding ourselves that we get to the places that we need to be or have to be or at pros at one little stone at a time, one step at a time, one breath at a time. It doesn't happen overnight. And maybe you have that grace, that patience as you find this balance navigating through carrying these stones along your journey. Go ahead and release your intention in whatever way feels most natural. We're going to go ahead and start that playlist. Releasing those arms to come up overhead, nice big body stretch, toes are going nice and long. The next breath, allowing the knees to come into the chest, giving yourself a nice big hug. Finding a little bit of movement side to side, get that release in that low back. And find that stillness. We're going to keep that right knee hugged in, left leg going nice and long. Let that heel fall down to the mat. And that left hand is going outside of that right knee. Allow that knee to fall on over towards the left side. Maybe some snap, crackle, pops happen. See if you can maybe find a little bit of ease in that right shoulder. A little bit of ease in the breath. Allowing the gaze to come back to center. That knee will come back to center. Bring that left knee in to meet the right. Nice big hug once more. Extend that right leg nice and long. Allow it to fall down towards the mat. Now we're going to bring that left knee on over towards the right side for a little twist. Noticing the difference here between the two sides. Maybe one side takes a little more effort than the other. Or we're holding on to a little bit more tension in one side. See if you can breathe through it. Bring that knee back to center, gaze back up to center if it fell to the side. Right knee's coming in to meet the left, nice big hug. Start finding some movement along the spine, forward and back. We're making our way into our tabletop. Taking your time to get there, however you get there. Those hands are underneath the shoulders, the knees are underneath the hips, that spine is nice and long. Maybe you allow the head to kind of go side to side. All right, settle in. With our next breath, we're letting that heart shine forward, tailbone reaching up towards the sky. Exhale, push that ground away, curve the spine with that next breath. Start moving at your breath pace through your cat-cow flow. Maybe you find some additional movement side to side, forward and back. Circles, seeing what feels good for your body today. Whatever that may look like. And then evening yourself out. Coming back into that neutral tabletop. We're going to tuck the toes under, lift those shins, breathe. Keep that spine nice and long, nice and leveled. Keep the hips a little lower. Next breath, pushing those hips up towards the sky, downward facing dog, paddle up the feet. Allowing that stretch to happen in the back side of the body. Nice big inhales and exhales here. All right, settle into that downward facing dog, nice and strong. Tailbone reaching up high. Left foot stays grounded, right leg reaching up high. Bend that knee, stack those hips. Keeping those shoulders straight on, breathe. Our next breath, we extend that leg nice and long, back into our three-legged dog. Exhale a smooth step forward, framing that foot, low runner's lunge. Allow the hips to fall, that chest to open. Next breath, allow that left knee to drop on down, untuck the toes, lift that torso on up, those hands are alongside the body. As we inhale, we're letting those arms sweep behind and up, reach up high. Exhaling those hands on down, framing that foot, allow the hips to go on back, right toes up towards the sky, drag that right heel. Maybe you fold on over that right leg, releasing that effort. All right, let's lift ourselves back up. Bring that weight back into that right foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift that back leg. We're nice and strong with that right leg. That left foot becomes nice and light. We're stepping it forward, top of the mat. Maybe there's a big bend in the knees, that belly resting on the tops of the legs, or maybe those legs are a little straighter. Allow that torso to be heavy on over the legs. Crown of the head is reaching down towards the ground. Breathe. Now listen up. We're going to bend that left knee. Left hand is coming on down. Right arm is reaching up high. Now, if you need to come up onto those fingertips, that's okay, or maybe a block underneath that left hand. If it feels nice, go ahead and wrap that right arm behind the back for a little half bind. Release that half bind if you took it, reaching up high. Exhale, let's switch it on out. Bend that right knee. Right hand is coming down as that left arm reaches high. Option of bending that left arm behind the back. Keep breathing. Reach that left arm up high if you found that half bind. Exhale on over those legs. Again, maybe there's a big bend in the knees. Let's come up halfway. Exhale on over. Inhale all the way up to standing. Reach up high. Exhale those hands down to heart center. We're going to let those arms reach up high once more. Grab a hold of that left wrist with that right hand side bend to the right. Grounding down at that left foot, that heart, that chest is open. Coming back to center, reach up high. As you exhale, grab a hold of the opposite wrist, side bend to the left. Feeling that stretch from the right toes all the way to that right hand. Release it, reach back up high. Exhale on over those legs. Inhale, come up halfway. Plant the hands, step, jump, hop it on back. Find your chaturanga flow or your vinyasa flow, meeting in our downward facing dog. Nice and strong here. We're going to find that lightness in that left leg, reach up high. Bend that knee, stack those hips. Coming back into our three-legged dog with our next breath. Exhale a smooth step forward, low runner's lunge. Allow that heart to shine forward. Bring the hips back, right knee is dropping on down, untuck the toes, lift that chest on up. Those hands are alongside the body. Reach them back and up. Exhale those hands on down, framing that foot. Allow the hips to go on back. The left toes up towards the sky. Drag that left heel for me. Maybe you soften on over that left leg. Next breath, coming back into that left foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift that back leg. Stepping that right foot up to meet the left, high plank. Relaxing on over those legs once more. Notice the second time around, maybe you're able to straighten up those legs a little bit. Maybe not, and it's okay. Right? One stone, one step at a time. And maybe it's a little less of a bend. It is what it is, and we're grateful for what we have. Come up halfway. Exhale on over. Inhale all the way up to standing, reach up high. Allow the hands to come down to heart center. Inhale those arms back up overhead. Grabbing a hold of that left wrist with that right hand side, bend on over towards the right. This time we're staying grounded with that left foot, and those right toes are lifting on up. Noticing the wobbles. Maybe they're really wobbly today, or you're really wobbly. That's okay. Notice that strength within the wobbles. Let's come back to center. Grab a hold of that right wrist with that left hand side bend to the left. Grounding down with that right foot. It's nice and strong, nice and sturdy. Allowing the left toes to lift. Embrace the wobbles and the strength all at the same time. That balance between these two. Breathe. Let's come back to center, reach up high. Exhale on over those legs. Inhale, come up halfway. Plant those hands, step, jump, hop it on back. Find your flow, meeting in our downward facing dog. Coming back to the breath, back to your intention if you lost it. Left foot stays grounded, right leg reaching up high. Bend that knee, stack those hips. Now listen up. We're going to shift that weight forward and extend that right leg out to the side. Maybe that foot reaches on over towards that right arm. Maybe not. Stack those hips. So again, come forward. That leg is extending. Lift it back up. Stack those hips. Last time. Let's come forward. Now bend that knee. Allow that knee to come in between those hands. Breathe. We're here for 3, for 2, for 1. Extend it up towards the sky. Exhale a smooth step forward. Low runner's lunge. Maybe that heart shines forward just for a sec. Allow the hips to come back. Left hand grounds down, right arm reaching up high. Exhaling that right hand on down inside of that right foot. That left arm might reach up high. If it feels better to seal that left foot on down, seal it down. Breathe. Exhaling that left hand on down. If that back foot was sealed, I want you to revolve it, coming back onto that ball, that foot. So those hands, those arms are alongside that right leg. That right arm is next to that right leg, nice and strong. That left hand is maybe out a little bit. Now I want you to walk everything just a handprint over. Nice and strong still with that right leg. If you need to let that left knee come down, let it come down. Otherwise, we're pushing down and lifting up. Push it down, lift it up. Last time, push it down, lift it up. Very good. Walking those hands, that handprint back over to the right. Nice and strong. Allow that right leg to reach back up high. Three-legged dog. Toes are floating on down. Back into our downward facing dog. Noticing your breath. Now we're building, we're picking up these little stones to get us ready for a really big move. Left leg becomes nice and light. Let's lift it up. Bend that knee, stack those hips. Breathe. All right, just like we did on the other side, we're shifting that weight forward to create a little bit of balance. Extend that left leg nice and long. Now lift it back up, stack those hips. Exhale forward, see if you can tap. Lift it back up. Last time, exhale it forward. Now bring that left knee to the center. Pushing that ground away, engaging the shoulders. 3, 2, 1. Reach it up high. Exhale, stepping that left foot outside of that left hand in our lizard. Breathe here. Walking those hands, just a handprint on over to the right. We're coming down. Lift it up. Coming down. Lift up. Come down. Lift up. Very good. Now, we're going to heel toe that foot and between those hands. Low runner's lunge. Allow that heart to shine forward. Let the hips go on back. Right hand stays down, left arm reaching up high. Exhaling that left hand on down inside of that left foot. Maybe you seal that right foot on down as that right arm rises. Breathe. Exhaling that right hand on down, revolving that back foot if it was sealed. Let's step that left foot back to meet the right. We're in our high plank. I want you to breathe. Nice big inhales and exhales here. If you need to let the knees come down onto the mat, let them come down. Breathe. Whether the legs are up or they're down, I want you to shift that weight forward. We're coming down halfway. Lift it up. Halfway. Lift it up. 2 more. I want you to feel that strength, that effort with pushing down and lifting up. We're going to do 1 more. Stay down. 3, 2, 1. Release everything down. Let go onto the belly. Maybe the hands come underneath the shoulders. Maybe they reach out a little bit. I always like to find a little bit of a shoulder dance with my hands out, letting one shoulder drop, and then it comes back up. Opposite shoulder drops, comes back up. Just find a few of these. I eventually make circles. Maybe that feels nice for you. Maybe you're just like, I just like laying here on my belly, and that's all good too. We'll be here for 3, for 2. Last one. Very good. Find that stillness. Now listen up. We're going to bring those hands back underneath the shoulders. I know those arms are feeling tired, but we are strong. We're going to tuck the toes under. Now keeping those arms hugged in, close and towards the body. We're going to see if maybe we can lift ourselves up from the ground into our high plank. Now, I'm going to be honest. My high plank from here is not usually something that's possible. Maybe it's not possible for you, and that's okay. I want you to work on just seeing first if you're able to squeeze everything towards the center body and maybe lift up. That's probably the highest I've been able to lift, and I've been doing this for months. And that's okay, right? These little pebbles take time, these little stones. So maybe that's you. Maybe you keep those knees down and keep the arms hugged into the belly and lift up just the chest until you're able to push up, and then eventually let those legs climb up as well. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Hips are raising on up. Downward facing dog. Breathe. Nice big inhales and exhales. I want you to bend those knees. Step, jump, hop, top of the mat. Coming up halfway. Exhale on over those legs. Inhale, rising all the way up high. Breathe. Allow the hands to come down to heart center. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, swan dive on over. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, plant those hands. Step, jump, hop it on back. Find your flow, meeting in our downward facing dog. Keeping in mind your flow might be a child's pose. Maybe you're feeling really hardcore, really fiery. Adding all you want. This is your practice, keeping that in mind. Left foot stays grounded down. Right leg is reaching up high. Bend that knee, stack those hips. Coming back into our three-legged dog. We're having a smooth step forward with that exhale. Low runner's lunge. Breathe. Left hand down, right arm up. Exhaling that right hand on down, sealing that left foot on down, opening up that left arm. Breathe. Pushing with that right hand to lift on up into our warrior two. Maybe little adjustments needed. Nice and strong with those arms, soft gaze over those front fingers. Flip that right palm to the sky, exhale that warrior. Our next breath, we find our side angle, right arm onto that right leg, left arm reaching up and over. Let's exhale it once more, reaching up high. And back into our side angle with that next breath. If you're wanting a little bit more, maybe you reach that right arm forward as well for that beach ball. If you want to try a little something different, maybe that right hand comes down onto the mat just like what we were when we began. Left arm will reach up high. Left arm is going to tuck behind the back, little half bind. You can stay here. Maybe that right arm tucks underneath that right leg. Grasping those hands, keep that heart open though. And then if you want a little bit more, there's always bird of paradise here. So shimmy that foot kind of halfway towards the mat. Maybe you face the front, maybe you stay facing the side. That right foot becomes nice and light, engaging that belly, that core to lift yourself on up. Nice and steady, nice and strong. Right leg might extend out, maybe it stays bent. Breathe. Once you're done playing, gently releasing. Coming back to the floor, back to the mat, back into the position you began with. We're all coming back into our warrior two. And we're windmilling towards the back of the room. So right arm is raising on up, right toes are angling in, left toes are facing the back of the room. Bend that left knee, right hand is coming on down as that left arm reaches up high. Allow that right knee to come on down, untuck the toes. Lift that torso on up. So you're facing that left leg, right arm reaching towards the back front, left arm reaching for the front back. Allow that left hand to come down onto that right leg. Right arm is reaching up high. As we exhale, we let that right arm hook outside of that left leg. Left hand is releasing off the leg to find prayer. Keep that torso twisted, that spine long, that leg strong. Tuck the back toes under, lift that back leg. Now you can stay here. Or if you like, you can find your twisted half moon. So if you're going into that twisted half moon, you're gonna let that right hand come forward in front of that left foot. Shift that weight into that left leg as that right leg lifts on up, nice and strong. Left hand can stay on the left hip, or maybe it reaches up high. Keep that right foot flexed for me. Now we're all bending that left knee if it isn't already bent. And we're sealing that right foot on down, undoing those arms, opening up warrior two, back to where we began, front of the room. Let's windmill those hands on down, framing that right foot. Step that right foot back to meet the left, high plank. Going through your flow, meeting in our downward facing dog. Nice big inhales and exhales here. Allowing that breath to go in through the nose, down the throat, the chest, into the belly. And as a reverse to this from the belly, chest, throat, and out through the nose. With each breath in, know you're breathing in. And with each breath out, know that you're breathing out. Left leg rises. Bend that knee, step those hips. Coming back into our three-legged dog. Exhale a smooth step forward. Low runner's lunge. Nice and strong. Right hand stays down, left arm reaching up high. Next exhale, let that left hand come down inside of that left foot. Seal that right foot on down, reach that right arm up high. Breathe. With that strength on that left hand, we lift that torso on up into our warrior two. Okay, maybe small little baby adjustments. Nice and strong with those arms. Keep that gaze steady over those left fingers. Flip that left palm to the sky. Exhale that warrior. Right hand coming down onto that right leg, left arm reaching up and over. Exhaling, letting that left arm come down onto that left leg. Right arm reaches up and over. Feeling that balance between that stretch, that lengthening, and that strength of keeping steady. Let's exhale once more. Back into our side angle with that next breath. Again, maybe you stay here. Maybe you hold on to that beach ball, focusing on that strength. Maybe that left hand comes all the way down. Reaching that right arm up high and then let it come behind the back. Finding those progressions, picking up those small pebbles. One pebble, one stone at a time. Left arm tucking underneath that left leg. Maybe you bind, maybe not. Keep that heart open. Heel toe that foot halfway in to find that stability. Strengthen that right leg, allowing that torso to lift. That left leg is coming on up. Maybe it extends on out. Maybe it stays tucked in. Gently making your way out of the pose. Be slow, be cautious, be mindful. We're all coming back into our warrior two. All right, we're facing that back of the room. So that left arm is reaching up high. Left toes are angling in. Right toes are facing the back of the room. Bend that right knee. Left hand is coming on down as that right arm reaches up high. Left knee comes down. Untuck those toes. Pushing into that left hand to lift that torso on up. So we're facing that right leg. Right hand will come down onto that left leg. Left arm is coming up high. Breathe. Let's find that prayer twist. Left elbow hooking outside of that right leg. Right hand coming up to meet it. Keep that spine nice and long. Again, you have the option of just staying here with that spine long. Or if you'd like, you can tuck the toes under, lift that back leg and stay here. Or again, if you're ready to build a little bit more, you're going to let that left hand come forward in front of that right foot. Shift that weight into that right leg. Left leg becomes nice and light. Let it lift. Right arm is reaching up high. Or maybe stays on the hip. Breathe. Bend that right knee. Allow the left toes to touch on down. We're windmilling those arms up and over, having warrior two, front of the mat once more. Let it be smooth. Settle in here just for a breath. Exhale those hands on down, framing that foot. Step it on through. Find your flow, meeting in our downward facing dog. Nice big inhales and exhales here. All right. So we're going to build on those stones, on those pebbles. So I want you to exhale, come forward into your high plank. Now go ahead and lift those hips up once more. Exhale, forward, high plank. Now, if you need to let the knees come down again, maybe these are your stones where you're at today, and that's okay. If not, I want you to keep those legs lifted. We're extending that right leg on back and let it come to that right arm. Extend it back. Bring it to that right arm. Extend it back. Okay. Now, we're coming down halfway just like we've been practicing. Maybe that right leg comes forward and hangs upon that right above that right elbow, like a shelf. Maybe you extend that foot on out. Maybe you're in that arm balance, shifting that weight forward. Those arms, that shelf holding you. 3, 2, 1, extend it back. I want everybody to come down onto the knees. Allow the hips to go back, child's pose. Settle in here. Maybe you roll out the wrists. Or find that favorite arm variation that suits you. Taking these next few moments just to breathe, to come back to the breath, back to that intention. Keeping in mind that maybe today we're not moving these mountains, but over time, with building these little stones, it will be possible. We just have to keep practicing, keep trying, keep believing. All right, let's come back up into our tabletop. Tuck the toes under, lift those hips, downward facing dog. We're gonna find that same thing on the opposite side. Again, if you tried it maybe up high, maybe you tried it down low, you're still getting the same workout no matter what. So exhale forward, come into our high plank. Lift those hips up high. Exhale forward, high plank. Lift that left leg. Left knee is finding that left arm. Extend it back. Knee to arm. Extend it back. All right, shift that weight forward. Create that shelf. Left knee to that left arm. Maybe it stays on that shelf. Maybe it extends on out. Maybe you're able to float it on forward. And keep in mind, some days it's there, some days it's not. I can usually do this some days. Today is a not doing it day. Then I want you to breathe. 3, 2, 1. Extend it back. High plank. Allow the knees to come down. Hips are going on back. Roll out those wrists once more. Nice big inhales and exhales. All right, we're making our way back into our downward facing dog. So if that means you want to pop in another chaturanga flow, a vinyasa flow, feel free. Or if not, just take your time to get into your downward facing dog. Left foot stays grounded, right leg reaching up high. Bend that knee, stack those hips. Now I want you to try something a little funky. Maybe you shift that weight forward and allow that left leg to maybe fall. And it's like that right leg is kind of lifted. Maybe you have that right hand still down. Maybe you come onto the fingertips. Maybe you lift it up, trying to grab a hold of that right foot. Once you're done playing, allow that right hand to come back down, back into that three-legged dog. Exhale, a smooth step forward, low runner's lunge. Inhale, rising up, crescent warrior. Breathe. We're going to be nice and strong with that right leg. Those hands will come to heart center. Left foot becomes nice and light. We're playing with our balance once more. So allowing that left leg to come up nice and light as that right leg holds us sturdy. Right hand coming outside of that left leg. Left arm reaching behind. Good. We come back to center. Left ankle crossing above that right knee. Create that figure 4. Bend the knees, or bend that right knee. Bring that bum on down. Hands can stay at heart center. Maybe you fold on over those legs. If you're still wanting a little bit more fire, there is an arm balance. Actually, there's 2 arm balances here that you can find. But we'll find the easier one of the 2. So if you're wanting maybe a toe stand instead, that might feel nice. I'm going to guide through this arm balance real quick. So the hands will come down. You'll create that shelf just like everything. That left foot is hugging around that right upper arm. And eventually, you're engaging that belly, hugging that toe, that foot into the arm. Maybe that right foot lifts. Eventually, it'll extend on out behind you. But again, right, seeing what pebbles we find today. Once you're done playing, you're lifting back up. Allow that left foot to slide on down. So those pinky toes will touch. Inhale those arms up overhead. Breathe. Left foot stays grounded exactly where it's at. And we're going to let that left hand come down. Right leg is going to extend behind us. So bend that left knee, right leg extending out, half moon. Flex that right foot for me. All right, we're gonna let that right foot reach on over towards the right. Allow that right foot to fall down alongside the left. Wiggle out over those legs. Come up halfway. Exhale on over. Inhale all the way up to standing, reach up high. Exhale, swan dive back down. Inhale, come up halfway. Plant the hands, step jump, hop it on back. Find your flow. We're meeting in our downward facing dog. Nice big inhales and exhales. Allowing that breath to fill the body. And as you exhale, let it all out. The right foot stays grounded, left leg reaching up high. Bend that knee, stack those hips. Again, if you found that fun version of a lifted wild thing, you can go ahead and find it. We're shifting that weight forward. Allow that right foot to fall to the side. The left fingers will maybe lift. Keep that left knee tucked in or left leg tucked in. Maybe you grab the foot, maybe you don't, maybe you fall. Keeping those corners of the mouth lifted. All right, let's let that left hand come on down. Extend that left leg up high. Exhale a smooth step forward, low runner's lunge. Find that stability. Inhale, let's lift on up. Crescent. Nice and strong with that left leg. Right foot becomes nice and light. Allow the hands to come to heart center. Let's lift up. Pillar pose. Staying sturdy with that left leg. Left hand reaching outside of that right knee. Right arm reaching behind. Take your time to find this pose. To find this twist, keep that spine nice and long. Come back to center. Right ankle is crossing above that left knee. Let's sit it down. Nice big inhales and exhales here. Maybe you exhale on over those legs. Maybe you find that arm balance. If you're in that arm balance, the right toes are hugging onto, they're squeezing onto that left upper arm as you create that shelf. Engage that belly. Engage and squeeze. Engage and squeeze. Engage and squeeze. All right. Once we're done playing, we're coming back up. Gently lifting. Smoothly letting the left foot, or excuse me, that right foot come on down. Pinky toes will touch. Nice big inhales and exhales here. Let's reach those arms up high. And as we exhale, that right hand is coming down. Right leg is steady, it's strong. Left leg starts to lifting. Half moon. Keep that spine long, that left foot flexed. Lift into that right leg to stay strong and sturdy. All right, we're bringing that left foot on over towards the left side. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Close it in. Wiggle it out. Let's inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, relax on over. Inhale all the way up to standing, reach up high. Allow the hands to come down to heart center. We're going to heel toe the feet open. Allow the toes to face out. And we're making our way down into our yogi squat. So bending those knees, allowing the hips to come down. So we settle in here. Again, if you're still feeling fiery, feel free to pop in a crow. Maybe you're done with arm balances or with that fire, that strength, and that's okay. I want you to relax. I want you to soften, to find the ease, releasing any extra effort. Just a few more breaths. Good. Let's make our way down onto our bum. Left leg is going to come forward. Right leg is going to extend on back. We're just rolling to our pigeon, nothing fancy here. Allow that heart to open, that chest opens. If you want, you can walk those hands on over towards the right side, kind of framing that left foot. You can bend that right knee, reaching for that right foot with the right hand for a bit of a quad stretch. Stay nice and lifted. Some of you might try to play with balance, allowing the left fingers to come up, maybe reaching them up and over. Once you're done playing, you gently release. Take your time, no rush. And easing on down into our pigeon. So option, because Annie wanted the threading, we are threading tonight. So left hand stays grounded. Right hand is threading underneath that left, if that feels okay. Coming down onto that right side of the head. I want you to still focus on allowing that left hip to go back, right hip moving forward. Keep the integrity of the pose even though we're twisting. Some of you might even like to bind a little bit more, allowing that left arm to come back behind you, behind the back. Reaching for those left toes that are tucked underneath you, so holding onto that big toe if you'd like. We'll be here just for a few breaths. All right, gently unwinding, allowing the hands to come back forward, back in front of you. Gently lifting that torso on up. We're gonna roll onto that left outer hip as that right leg comes around into our seated tree. And you know what? We're actually going to extend that left leg out. Tuck that right foot in. It's going to feel a lot better. Left hand is finding that right knee. Right arm is reaching behind. Allow the spine to lengthen. Nice big inhale. Now as you exhale, we're tilting on over, reaching those right fingers towards the left toes. And because this song is compass, we're kind of creating a little compass here. Just gently lift on up, unwinding. We're going to keep that right leg exactly where it's at. Roll onto that right outer hip. Left leg is scooching on back as we find our pigeon here on this opposite side. Staying up high just for a little while. Again, if it feels nice to bend that left knee, grabbing a hold of that left foot with the left hand, please do so. Maybe you lift up. Seeing if you can play with that balance of that right arm reaching. Gently release the bind if you took it. We're settling in. Again, left arm threading underneath that right. Coming onto that left side of the head. Option of letting that right arm reach back behind. Grabbing a hold of those right toes or that right big toe. Again, focusing on the hips. Allowing that left hip to push forward as that right hip pushes back. Breathe. Just a few more breaths here. All right, unthreading yourself if you were threaded. We're gently coming back up into the hands. Rolling onto that right outer hip. Allow that left leg to come back forward. Now extend that right leg. Left foot tucking in. Seated tree. Flexing the toes. Maybe wiggling them out a little bit. Right hand is coming onto that left knee. Allow that left arm to reach behind. Keep that spine long. Inhale, and as you exhale, fold on over. Maybe you take that small peek underneath that left arm. Doesn't matter if you touch the toes or not. I just want you to feel that stretch and that left low back. Allow the breath to travel there, especially if you're feeling tight or like if you're holding onto the breath. See if you can let that breath travel there. Let's gently lift on up. We're going to extend both of those legs nice and long. Wiggle them out. Maybe you create little fists with the hands. And it might feel nice just to kind of find a little bit of a massage down the legs. Be careful on the knees. Don't hit the knees. Just a little loving. And avoid the bones. The shin bones don't feel nice either. The fatty parts of the leg feel nice. All right. Good. Settle in. Spine is long. Reach those arms forward. Tuck that chin just in a hair. Start making your way down onto your back. Keep those heels grounded. As you gently make your way back. Once the shoulders are down, allow the arms to stretch behind you. The toes might stretch out as well. Big body stretch. And then we'll let the knees come back into the chest, giving yourself a nice big hug once more. Keep that right knee hugged in. Left leg is going to extend on out. Allowing that knee to cross on over towards the left. Now this is just how we started to practice. Noticing if we are able to let go of that effort that we were holding on to in the beginning of practice, that extra tension that was in our body. Notice here as you were able to gently shift that mountain. If it feels nice to bend that left knee and grab a hold of the left toes with that right hand for a little cat pulling the tail. You could maybe play with that. The shoulders are going to ideally stay grounded though. If you're pulling your tail, I want you to gently release it. Allow that right knee to come back to center. Bring that left knee in to hug. Maybe you even lift the shoulders if it feels nice. If not, keep that back grounded. Extend that right leg nice and long. Left knee is crossing on over towards the right. Noticing the breath. And again, if it feels nice for that bind, bending that right knee, left hand is grabbing a hold of those right toes. Our right foot. And see if we can keep the shoulders grounded. It's okay if it lifts just a hair. But ideally, we want to keep ourselves grounded down. If you are pulling your tail, I want you to gently release it. Allow that left knee to come back to center. The right knee is coming in to meet it. Now, welcoming in any final movements into your practice that you might be needing in order to make your practice complete, whether it's a happy baby, legs up the wall, or just little movements that don't even have a name. Trusting your voice, your heart to guide you. Into whatever your practice needs to look like today. Eventually settling on into that final resting pose, that Shavasana. Take your time to get there. If you aren't already there. We'll be here just for a minute or so. So noticing here as the body becomes heavy, as you release that effort you were holding on to, noticing the benefits that the body felt from moving, but now noticing the benefits that the mind is having from the stillness. Just a few more breaths here. Now we're steadily bringing in gentle movements back into the fingers, back into the toes. Allowing effort to come back into the body. With each breath, bigger movements surface. Eventually lengthening out. And as you exhale, bring the knees into the chest, giving yourself one last big hug. Maybe it's the biggest one yet. And then allowing yourself to fall on over either to the right or the left side, softly and gently. Taking a few moments here to come back to that intention that you said in the beginning of class, to that thought of those who remove mountains begin by carrying small stones. So noticing these small stones in your practice, noticing the small stones in your life, knowing that over time, these stones create something big, something beautiful. Let's gently make our way up to a comfortable seated position, keeping the eyes closed or soft. Let the hands come to heart center as we bow our head in gratitude. Grateful for this day, for this breath, for this beautiful life that we're given. Thank you to each of you for sharing your practice with me. The light, the love, and the spirit in me humbly bows to the light, the love, and spirit in each of you. Namaste. Thank you, ladies. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you like this version. All right, until next time, I'll see ya. Have a good weekend.